Good to have you with us tonight, folks. Thanks for watching. Mitt Romney is doing anything he can to run away from his history as a job killer. It could be the last chance for Romney's opponents to stop him from winning the nomination. Tomorrow night is a big one. During Romney's final swing through New Hampshire, he played the role of middle-class Mitt once again.
These are experiences that many of you know. I know what it's like to worry whether you're going to get fired. There were a couple of times I wondered whether I was going to get a pink slip.
Really? Tell us about that, Mitt. When was that? What year? What day? What happened? We want some more detail. And we want some more detail on these 100,000 jobs that you say you created. The idea of Mitt Romney worrying about a pink slip was so outrageous, even Rick Perry mocked it.
The idea that Mitt stood up and said, that he's worried about pink slips. I mean, come on, this is probably one of the richest people to ever run for the presidency of the United States, the son of a multimillionaire, an individual that, Mitt Romney's never worried about a pink slip. Well, he might have worried about not having enough of them to hand out in places like Gaffney, South Carolina, but he's not worried about losing his job.
Now, he's way down in the polls, but is Perry kind of getting on a roll a little bit? Is he figuring this thing out? Republican opponents are taking any opportunity to portray Romney as a ruthless corporate raider. Check out what happened when Romney made this gaffe about choosing health insurance plans.
I want individuals to have their own insurance. That means the insurance company will have an incentive to keep you healthy. It also means that if you don't like what they do, you can fire them. I like being able to fire people who provide services to me. If someone doesn't give me the good service I need, I want to say, that I'm going to go get someone else to provide that service to me.
The question is, does that apply to employees? Apparently it does. Hours later, John Huntsman was taking Romney's comment about firing people at face value.
Governor Romney enjoys firing people. I enjoy creating jobs.
Newt Gingrich has taken the biggest shots at Romney's past as CEO of Bain Capital.
At some point, Governor Romney is going to have to hold a press conference and walk through with considerable detail some of the companies that Bain took over, where they apparently looted the companies, left people totally unemployed, and walked off with millions of dollars.
And, of course, the super PAC supporting Gingrich made a movie detailing Romney's time at Bain Capital. It's damaging. The movie is being rolled out in advance of the South Carolina primary.
Mitt Romney became CEO of Bain Capital the day the company was formed. His mission? To reap massive rewards for himself and his investors.
Mitt Romney and them guys, they don't care who I am.
He's for small businesses. No, he isn't. He's not.
You're going to be on the hit list, you know that.
Romney took foreign seed money from Latin America and began a pattern exploiting dozens of American businesses.
And in the interest of full disclosure, Bain Capital is part owner of the Weather Channel, along with our parent company, NBC Universal. But that doesn't change the facts about this guy who wants to be president of the United States. Romney's time at Bain is perfect ammunition for his opponents, and they're using every bit of it. Middle-class Mitt's private sector record has got to be fair game. The real story about Mitt Romney is, well, it's starting to get told. According to the Wall Street Journal, here we go. Out of the 77 businesses that Bain invested in between the years 1984 and 1999, 22% of them, they either filed for bankruptcy or they just flat out went out of business. Bain investors received $2.5 billion from those 77 companies. They had annual gains between 50 and 80%. Not bad, but where'd the money go? To the top, it looks like. Republican candidates aren't the only ones who are talking about this. The workers who were fired, they're speaking out.
I worked in the steel mill in Kansas City for 32 years. And Mitt Romney and Bain Capital came in and took the place over and eventually shut it down. We lost our jobs. They made millions. Businesses, they were all gone. Jobs we'll never see again.
Is that guy lying? No, those are the facts. Mitt Romney is the front runner for the Republican nomination. He's also an outsourcer, a job cutter. He allegedly took millions from workers, dinged with their retirement, and he was confronted today by a representative from the United Auto Workers Union who wanted to know why in the world Mitt wanted to let all these auto workers go and not support them when President Obama did.
How can you say that those their jobs instead of where they are today, once again, the #1 auto company in the United States. I don't understand.
Ma'am, we've been very patient. We need to get to the answer now. Thank you.
Now let's get to the answer. The answer is this. Bankruptcy is not going under and losing jobs. The president ultimately did what I suggested, going through a managed bankruptcy process. I wrote an op-ed about this. I said, excuse me, it's my turn to talk. And if you want to talk afterwards, we can come chat afterwards. But we went through General Motors and Chrysler went through a managed bankruptcy exactly as I said back, I think it was in November. It took the president 5 or 6 months to come around to that. That's what they had to do.
Mr. Romney, you were not for the loan. You know you weren't. Mitt Romney can't hide from his past. He killed jobs as a corporate CEO. He wanted President Obama to kill jobs in the automobile industry, and his policies will kill jobs if he is the president of the United States. His opponents are figuring this out, and that's why they're going after him. Not just because they think he might get the nomination. This guy has a chance to destroy the Republican Party based on his business model. We're in a country right now that's trying to create jobs. He has a record of butchering labor. But I must say, all of the Republican candidates don't have a good word to say about labor at all. The other day, Santorum, when I was in Iowa, said that President Obama didn't save the automobile industry, he saved the unions. Really? Tell the other side of the story, Mr. Santorum. Talk to the unions about how they took a haircut and came back with a reduced package to keep that industry alive and save millions of jobs. Get your cell phones out. I want to know what you think. Tonight's question, will more Americans receive pink slips if Mitt Romney becomes president? Text A for yes, text B for no to 622-639. You can always go to our blog at ed.msnbc.com. We'll have the results later on in the show. One of the things that really gets me about Romney, and no one has ever challenged him in these debates, he acts as if he's the only one that has ever done anything in life. Well, I come from the private sector. You're a lesser human being because you've never been in the private sector. Hell, they've all been in the private sector at one time or another. And none of them has cut as many jobs as Mitt Romney, to my knowledge. Joining me tonight is Julie Kushner. She is a United Auto Workers representative who confronted Mitt Romney today. And we're also joined tonight by Donnie Box, a former steel worker who was laid off under Bain Capital when Romney was in charge. Donnie, good to have you with us tonight. We'll start with you first. What do you want people to know about what you went through and what it was like going through this experience? And what do you want them to know about Mitt Romney?
No, to start with Mitt Romney, I mean, I'd kind of moved on beyond all this stuff. You know, after about 11 years, you start moving on. You can't dwell on what's happened, but I started hearing all this stuff about the job creator, and you know, I got nothing against Staples or some shoe company, and all these other places he supposedly brought to life and all the wonderful things he did with it, but I kept thinking, what happened? What happened down there where I worked? You know, what the heck? Where was all this go-get-'em attitude then? Because that's not what we saw down there at the plant.
What effects did these layoffs have on Kansas City once the steel mill was gone?
Well, you know, you start out and you think, well, that was just 800 jobs there in the mill, but, you know, we were the biggest consumer of electrical, natural gas, and water, you know, in about a 6-state area. And once they shut the mill down, you know, it just didn't affect, you know, the steel workers. It hammered the guys at Power and Light because all of a sudden now they've got a big bunch of staff. They don't need to maintain that facility anymore, so those guys got the axe. And you had the same thing with the gas company. When you're not using that, you know, millions of cubic feet of gas a year, you don't need the crews to maintain it.
And in the documentary, or the tape that's been produced that we've played, it says that Romney took millions from employees. Explain that. What do you know?
Well, all I know is, you know, when Armco decided that they were going to spin off the organization, and then management came to us as union members and said, look, we're putting a package together, we're getting the financing to come in here and, you know, kick this business up, and we're going to make it go because this place can do it. It's, you know, we sell a great product, we've got great people, you know, everybody bought into it, but, you know.
Does a Mitt Romney presidency worry you, scare you?
Well, I can quote a good friend of mine that said that, you know, he'll probably try to part this country out like he did that plant. You know, that's what he's concerned about, and I am, too.
Let's turn to Julie Kushner. She today, of course, confronted Mitt Romney at his campaign event. Julie, good to have you with us. What happened? What did you ask, and what did he say to you?
Well, I was at a breakfast meeting where he was talking about the UAW and about GM and Chrysler, and criticizing President Obama for helping out the auto industry. And, you know, I've heard it before, but hearing it up close like that, I couldn't believe it. And I got up and I challenged him on it. I said, you know, how can you really criticize President Obama for saving the auto industry in this country? And, you know, he was saving 1 million jobs, people that work in GM or Chrysler and auto-related jobs. And how can you criticize the president for that?
Romney says that the president did what he told him to do.
I thought that was interesting because I've heard him speak before, and I never heard him say that the president did something right. So I was kind of surprised he said that. But, you know, the fact is we all know what the president did, what Obama did was very, very helpful to our country. And we've seen the auto industry and these companies in particular rebound. And now GM was announced last week that now they're the largest automaker, again, you know, selling more cars than any other company in the world.
Did he say at that meeting that he was in favor of tax dollars helping out the automobile industry? I mean, that is the question, because it was a loan and all of the Republicans were against it. And now Mitt Romney is out there trying to say that he was in favor of a government loan saving the automobile industry. Did he say that?
He did not say that he was in favor of it, and he did not say that he did the right thing. And I think what he tried to say, you know, that President Obama did what he told him to do. But what was clear was that he's been opposed to this, and he's been blaming. He said that GM is now owned by the UAW. And, you know, that's just such a bad message for people. He's not telling the truth when he says that, because what happened was the union and the companies got together through the negotiations and figured out how to save this company and make it stronger going forward.
They reorganized.
And save jobs.
People took less benefit, less pension, and less pay. That is the way it came down. The workers served it up again, was part of the solution. I got to ask you before we go, Julie. Mitt Romney on the stump numerous times has referred to union stooges when it comes to the National Labor Relations Board. What's your reaction to that?
Well, he talked about union stooges, and I actually said, I'm not a union stooge. I'm a person 59 years old with a family that works hard and expects everybody to treat each other respectfully. I don't think that kind of name-calling has any place in politics. And I think that, you know, we have different values. That's clear. I believe people should, who work hard, play by the rules, should get, you know, be able to have a union and have democracy where they work.
Well, my interpretation is that he thinks that anybody that works for a wage must be a stooge. Julie, good to have you with us tonight. Donnie Box, thank you for being here.